A mother walks through the grocery store with her son. She's in a rush juggling a shopping list, a budget, and her child's energy. She reaches for breakfast staples including fruit-flavored yogurt, cereal, and a juice labeled 100% natural. It feels like a healthy haul, but that meal alone contains over 30 grams of added sugar, far more than the adult's recommended daily limit, and she has no idea. This isn't neglect, it's misinformation. According to the FDA on their official website, fda.gov, consuming too much added sugars can make it difficult to meet nutrient needs while staying within calorie limits. The truth is, we're living in a food system where added sugars are hidden behind fine print, catchy slogans, and outdated regulations. As someone passionate about public health and economic transparency, I believe the Food and Drug Administration must regulate added sugars in processed foods more strictly, not just for that mother's family, but for all of us. Let's face the reality of this situation. Overconsumption of sugar isn't just a dietary misstep, it's a public health emergency. Americans consume far much more sugar than recommended, often without realizing. Processed foods carry sweeteners under vague names like evaporated cane juice and organic syrup. They're sold with bright packaging and deceptive health claims. The FDA warns about this very issue on fda.gov, yet the agency still expects consumers to decode complex ingredient lists alone without the help of front-facing guidance. The consequences: millions of people suffer from conditions directly linked to sugar intake, such as heart disease, obesity, and type 2 diabetes. These aren't abstract risks, they're expensive, life-altering diagnoses, and they disproportionately impact communities with less access to fresh food and nutrition education. When labeling is weak and oversight inconsistent, the people who need protection the most fall through the cracks. But we're not powerless. The FDA has tools to fix this, and it's time they use them. A simple but powerful step would be requiring front-of-face package sugaring labeling. Right now, nutrition facts are tucked on the back, filled with tiny numbers and hard-to-pronounce ingredients. Families shopping on tight schedules don't always have time to scan and interpret that data. Maria Godoy of opb.org explains the proposed new label wouldn't replace the current nutrition facts, but instead would complement it. That means clear, visible sugar content right next to the product name, no digging, no deception. Another vital policy change is establishing sugar regulation targets for manufacturers. These targets would set clear expectations and limits on how much added sugar would be in processed foods. The nonprofit NCHR reports on centerforwellness.org that implementing industry standards to help lower added sugars to less than 10% of total daily calories is estimated to prevent more than 2 million cardiovascular events. This number isn't just big, it's transformational. And according to the Congressional Policy Overview from Congress's official website, changes to requirements of guidance could incentivize food manufacturers to change existing product formulation and labeling. In other words, regulation leads to innovation, not obstructions. Let's imagine what these reforms would look like in practice. Grocery stores would begin to shift. Front-facing sugar labels would make it easier to compare items, yogurt versus yogurt, cereal versus cereal. No marketing magic, just facts. And healthier options would follow. In countries where sugar labeling has already improved, consumers have started making different choices and public health began to turn around. And the industry wouldn't collapse, it would adapt. The Sugar Association reports on sugar.org that the number of new food products containing alternate sweeteners has increased by 832% since 2000. That's not a trend, it's a movement. Manufacturers are already looking for ways to lower sugar content and keep flavor. With the right regulatory push, they will have even more reason to refine, rethink, and improve their products. We've seen what happens when the FDA sets clear standards. Nutritional transparency increases and us consumers will win. Now consider what's at stake. Without action, we continue to build a food system based on confusion and long-term harm. Chronic illness climbs, health disparities will climb, and consumers remain trapped in a maze of misleading packaging and unclear guidance. But with bold policy and smart oversight, we could take a different path. One that empowers people to make healthier choices without needing a degree in nutrition or public policy. So here's the truth. The FDA should regulate added sugars in processed foods more strictly. Because informed decisions require clear information. Because health shouldn't be compromised for corporate convenience, And because that mother in the grocery store shouldn't have to guess whether her child's breakfast is fueling growth or risking it. Let's demand action. Let's push for labels that speak plainly and a food industry that serves the public, not just profit margins. Because when it comes to added sugar, every gram matters, and every policy choice shapes the future. Thank you for listening.